Oh my God. Okay. I can't even see over the books. You can't even see my whole face. What is happening? Why, Sarah? Hey guys, it's Sarah. The book haul. It's big. Yeah, it's fine. I did a little shopping. I definitely hit the book outlet sale when it was 25% off. Yeah. So it happened. It's fine. I've had some feelings and they're being reflected right now. Okay, I do have some books from publishers. I have a couple of gifts that were sent to me, and I did some shopping when we were on vacation. I have book of the month, and then I do have a book outlet order to show you. So lots of stuff. Sit back and relax. First one that I have here was sent to me from publisher. This is from Torteen, and it is called Into the Light. This is by Mark Oshiro. This one comes out on March 28th, and this is a young adult novel that follows two young men, Manny and Eli. They are both living in very, very different situations, lead very different lives, but they are drawn together by one big occurrence that happens, and it kind of brings them into, you know, kind of realizing where their lives need to be going, what they really want out of their lives, who they really are, all that kind of stuff. This cover is absolutely stunning. So this one comes out again on March 28th. And this one, you guys, I had this waiting for me when I got back from Florida, and I started jumping up and down in the middle of my kitchen when I opened it because I could not believe that I got a copy of this book. In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. You guys, I'm so excited. Okay, this comes out on April 25th. This is going to be his newest release. So this is a Pinocchio-inspired book. And as soon as I heard that, when everything was starting to be kind of whispered about this book, I immediately was like, yes, I'm so excited. So I cannot wait to read this. Okay, so in this one, this is a standalone fantasy, and we are following our main character. His name is Victor, and he has been raised by machines. So this has a lot of machines and robotics and androids and all that kind of stuff in it. And he has been raised that way, but he is a human. So he has basically has found family around him that he lives with, and they are all either machines or androids or something. And one of them goes missing. And so they band together to go out on an adventure to find their missing family member and to bring them home. And I just cannot wait to read this. This did come with a letter from TJ Klune to the readers. And this letter itself was so charming. It just... Like, I just smiled reading the letter, and it's only just about what the book is about. So I am just so excited to dive into this. I will not be putting this off very long. I promise you guys. And I'm so excited that this is physically in my hands right now. So again, this comes out on April 25th. So huge thanks to the publishers for sending me those. Okay, this next one was very kindly sent to me for Christmas/New Year's from Monica. And she sent me The Devil All the Time by Donald Ray Pollock. This is one that was in part of my recommendation where I asked you guys for recommendations, and this was one of them. And I have heard really good things about this book. And I have heard it's very dark, very gritty, very much... If you liked Razorblade Tears, you would like this one. And I loved Razorblade Tears. And so I'm definitely excited to see what this is all about. But this is set in Ohio, and we're following a man named Willard. His wife is basically on death's door, and he is trying everything he can to keep her around, basically. Meanwhile, they have an adult child who has grown from being bullied at school, and now he is a man who knows how to take action. So I think there's going to be some issues with that for sure. And it's just supposed to be like very dark and gritty and all that stuff. And I'm so excited for it. So thank you. Thank you so much, Monica. Okay, this next one, these next two actually I got from Amy. Amy, thank you so much. You're too good to me. She sent me His and Hers by Alice Feeney, which I was so excited because this is the only one I still needed to get for my Alice Feeney collection. I have not read this one yet. And I'm collecting all her books now, which I I believe I now have all of them because I want to go full in on Alice Feeney. I have really enjoyed the books that I've read from her so far, and this is one that I've heard very, very good things about, so I'm very excited to read this. So thank you, Amy, so much. So this one it follows both a journalist and a detective, and they are banding together to try to solve a murder, I believe. However, both of them become suspects in some way, shape, or form. And I believe this also has a narration from the murderer. So I'm very excited to see what that's all about. Amy also very kindly sent me The Attic Child. This is by Lola J. And this is another one that was in my recommendations, I believe. And I had regrets about not picking this up when it was an option for Book of the Month. And I mentioned that in my video, and then she sent it to me. So thank you so much, Amy. Like, I'm so excited to read this one. Number one, it is stunning. This is a gorgeous book. And I've heard really, really good things about it. A lot of people were reading it when it first came out and just saying it was really good. This is a dual timeline that follows two different people who have spent a lot of time being trapped in an attic in this particular house. And there is some sort of connection there between the early 1900s and I believe 1974 is the more current timeline. So yeah, so it's going to go back and forth between those two perspectives and the two people who are in the attic for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm very excited to read this. Again, I've heard great things, and thank you, Amy. All right, speaking of Book of the Month, let's talk about what I got in December. The first one was a no-brainer, All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. I immediately picked this one as my December pick because I loved her first book, which was A Flicker in the Dark. And so I definitely want to read this one. So this one is following a woman whose son goes missing, literally taken from his crib in the middle of the night, and what happened. Why was he taken? Who took him? All that stuff. She's also most likely going to be an unreliable narrator because she has like a sleep disorder. Because of this, she has extreme insomnia. And when she does sleep, she completely blacks out and has blackout moments because she's not sleeping as well. So there's some time that's lost to her. So that's going to be an issue trying to figure out things. So yeah, but I'm very excited to read this. Okay, and then a second one that I picked up from Book of the Month was one that I was able to get a free copy of one of the Book of the Year nominees because I am a BFF for Book of the Month, so we get to pick one. The only one that I did not have that I was interested in is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And this one actually won the Book of the Year for Book of the Month, which is awesome. So I went ahead and used that credit to get a copy of this because I definitely wanted it. I do have it on my Kindle from NetGalley, but I wanted because look, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I'm very excited to read this. Now, I did talk about this recently, I think. And oh yeah, I talked about it in my most anticipated, and if I read them in 2022, and this was on my most anticipated list. And I think I talked about it being a sci-fi. It is not. So let me correct myself on that. This is not a sci-fi. This is a contemporary book. And it does follow two people who have created a video game together. So I think that's maybe why I was thinking it was sci-fi, or maybe I thought it was an alternate reality type of game, kind of like Ready Player One, but that's not what this is. So I was wrong on that. So I apologize. But I definitely still want to read it. Very, very much so. This is going to be high priority for me this year. But yeah, so I picked this up. Okay, so we went to Florida for Christmas. And I got a couple things. I wasn't planning to even go book shopping, and we did. So yeah, it's fine. The first one I grabbed, we actually went to a Goodwill, and I ended up getting a book there. So I picked up Little Darlings. This is by Melanie Golding. I've heard really good things about this book. This follows a woman who has a pair of twins, and they go missing. And they are returned to her pretty quickly, but it's very apparent right away that these are not her children. Something's wrong. Like, they look like them. whatever, but she just knows in her gut that there's something wrong and something has happened to her children and she doesn't know what. And so she's trying to figure things out. I have heard that this is really messed up. So I'm definitely in, and I found a copy, for a really cheap price. So I figured I would go ahead and get it and give it a try. I also visited with one of my oldest and dearest friends, Julie, and she's a big reader as well. So every time we meet up, she's like, I have books. Do you want some? I was like, yes, I do. So anything she was planning to get rid of, she gave me a couple of them. So one of them was 8 Perfect Murders by Peter Swanson. I know that this one spoils a bunch of different books that have murders in them. So I'm going to do some research and make sure I know which ones I would need to read first. I don't think that everything in here are going to be books that I'm necessarily interested in reading. So it wouldn't matter if they got spoiled, but I'm going to double check before I read this one. But I am aware of that. But this follows a man who I think publishes, I don't know if he publishes a book or if he publishes a blog maybe, where he's like solving these perfect murders, but then those murders actually start happening. And so now he's a big suspect because he is the one who kind of like was bringing all this stuff up. I think that's what this is. So yeah, I'm excited. Okay, the other one that she held up and I was like, yes, is Confessions on the 745 by Lisa Unger. I am currently reading my first Lisa Unger book. I am reading Secluded Cabin Sleep 6, and so far I'm enjoying it. It is going very slow for me. I'm not picking it up like every single day, but I am enjoying the writing. So I definitely am interested in her as an author, and I have heard really, really good things about this one in particular. So this follows a woman who commutes on the train. It ends up stalling out one day, so they're kind of stuck there for a little bit. She's sitting next to this woman, and they strike up a conversation, and they start talking, and things start getting deeper, and she confesses to this stranger that she thinks her husband is sleeping with her nanny. And then the train starts, and they go on their way, and everything's fine. And then not too long after that, her nanny goes missing. What happened? Yeah, so totally in. Okay, and then we went to Books A Million. So I have a Books A Million kind of near me. It's a little bit out of the way. Like it's not necessarily one that I go to all the time, but we do have one. I just don't go very often. So we did go in Florida, and let me tell you, their clearance section is legit, you guys. Like Barnes & Noble doesn't have a clearance section the way that they do. So I always hit up the clearance section when I'm there, and I found 4 books on the clearance section that are on my list to get, and I got them for really cheap prices. So the first one is The One by John Mars. I am shocked I haven't read this yet. I definitely want to. I've heard such good things about it, such good things. So this explores the concept of using your DNA to find the perfect partner for you. And you can sign up for the service. You can have your DNA tested. It will match you with somebody else. And you, like, the people who pop up could be a surprise because it's all based on DNA and that's it. So, yeah, but I'm really excited to read this. I have heard just really, really good things. And John Mars is definitely an author that I'm interested in giving a try. Okay, so the next one I grabbed is A Secret History of Witches by Louisa Morgan. I've heard really good things about this one as well. So this one is a historical saga that goes through 5 different generations of mothers and daughters that are also witches. And it's all about the inheritance of it, the threats that means, the extraordinary gifts that they have, all that kind of stuff. And just kind of goes through all these different generations and how they're affected and how it's all passed down and all that kind of stuff. But again, I've heard very good things about this one. Okay, the next one I grabbed pretty quickly was Every Last Fear by Alex Finley. Yeah, guys, I know I haven't read him yet, and I don't know why. I definitely want to read him as an author. Like, this is an author I would like to try. And I now have all 3 of his books. I have this one. I do have his release from last year, and I have his newest release that's coming out in March. I have it on my Kindle, and I need to read. I need to read this man. So this one is a murder mystery that is following a man whose entire family is killed while they are on vacation. And it's kind of staged to look like it was an accident, staged to look like it was like carbon monoxide poisoning or something at the hotel. And he doesn't buy it because there's a lot of things that were happening, a lot of things that are suspect. And he is just like, no. However, he has his own set of problems because I believe that he had been previously arrested for the murder of his girlfriend. So he has to like try to figure this stuff out. He has no idea what's going on. Yeah. So I'm very excited to read this. Okay. And the last one that I picked up at Books A Million is one that has been on my radar for a little while. And I was like, yep, good price. I'm going to get it because it's a chunker. I got Wanderers by Chuck Wendig. Chuck Wendig is another author I would really like to try out. He does write fantasy / horror-ish type of books. And I mean, chunker, guys, huge. But this is a post-apocalyptic book. And I believe that the epidemic that's happening in here has something to do with sleepwalking. So I'm wondering if that's going to lead more towards like kind of a zombie-like stake or, you know, something like that. I'm not quite sure. But I definitely want to read this. It also has a follow-up that is out now. But I'm definitely interested in this one. And then, you know, finding the hardback for a really good price. I couldn't pass it up. Okay, book outlet time. Are we ready? Do you need a break? It's fine. I'll wait. But we're going to get into the book outlet box. Okay, first one. I was so excited to see this. Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez. I'm going all in on Abby Jimenez. I had read her book from last year and loved it. It was in my top 10, and I want to read everything that this woman pens now, and this is one of them. So I do need to get the other two because this is book number 3 that's in kind of like a companion series. So I need to get the other 2 as well, but I'm very excited to find this one. Okay, so this one is following a woman who is definitely trying to live her life taking absolutely nothing for granted, and that is because her mother and her sister both never lived to see the age of 30, and she's determined to live her life and to take risks and, you know, to do whatever she wants to do and just live her life fully. However, she ends up gaining custody of a little baby, and she was not expecting that to happen, and it completely upturns her life, including relying on the very hot next door neighbor who helps her out a whole lot. So sounds like fun. Okay, this next one is a middle grade that I've had on my radar for a while because my friend Amanda from the Curly Reader really loved this one, and that is When the World Was Ours. This is by Liz Kessler, and this is based on a true story. It is a World War II historical fiction for middle graders, and we are following 3 friends who are spending a lot of time together, but they don't realize that Europe is about to completely implode, and they are all going to be sent on different journeys and different places, and you're kind of traveling through these places with them, and then it's going to really test their friendship in the end. So I've heard really good things about it, and I'm very happy to have this one. Okay, this next one was 100% influenced by Vicky over at Vicky's Book Nook. So Vicky, this is your fault. I grabbed Boy's Life by Robert McCammon. She has gone on and on and on about this book. Loved it. And I was like, oh, now I want to read it too. And then Book Outlet had it, so I grabbed it. This is a nice big chunker, and it is kind of a coming of age, if you will. So we're following a young boy who is growing up in Alabama, and him and his father end up witnessing a car plunge into the river. And so that is going to bring about a whole bunch of different things, especially with his dad. And so you're kind of going through that experience with them and how that changes their lives and do all these things. So obviously there's a lot to cover in here apparently, but I'm definitely wanting to give it a try and see what I think. But Vicky definitely influenced me on this one. Okay, this next one I grabbed for a really good price. And yeah, it's number 4 in a series that I haven't started yet. I know some of you are yelling at me. I know. But I did it anyway. Okay, Witch Shadow. This is by Susan Denner. This is book number 4 in the Witchlands series. I have all of them. And I haven't read any of them yet, you guys. But in my defense, I do get them all very cheap. I get them all on Book Outlet. So like, I did not pay very much. That doesn't matter. I still have them in my house. Okay, so this one. I can't give a synopsis because I can't read a synopsis because it's number 4 in a series and I don't want to spoil myself for anything. But I have number 4. Moving on. I also bought book number 2 in a duology. And I haven't read the first one yet. When Night Breaks by Janella Angelis. This is the sequel to Where Dreams Descend, which I do have sitting over there. Also got that from Book Outlet. It's only a duology though, and I have heard very, very good things. It's supposed to be a little bit carnival circusy, so yes, please. Hello, that's what I love. Moving on. Okay, this next one is The Inheritance of Orquita Davina by Zoraida Cordova. I hope I said all that right. I have heard very, very, very good things about this book, and so I'm very excited to see what it's all about. It's got a pretty family tree. Cool. Okay, so in this one, I believe the matriarch of this family ends up passing away. And so she is leaving her inheritance down to her family members, and they're magical inheritances. However, someone in the family is going through their family tree basically and picking people off. So trying to figure out who's doing that, what's happening. I've heard really good things, and I just, hopefully it's going to be really good. Okay, the next one I grabbed is The Kingdom. This is by Jess Rothenberg. And this is like, from what I've heard, it's Disney World, but with androids. And that's really all I needed to know. So it's a fantasy theme park called The Kingdom. And we're following Anna, who adores her life at the park, but then she meets Owen. She begins to experience emotions beyond her programming. So like Anna is definitely an android. I don't know if Owen is or not. So that'll be kind of interesting. But yeah, I've heard this was really like fun and interesting and different. So you got it. Okay, so the next one that I grabbed is Hench, and this is by Natalie Zena Walshatz. Now, this one is being a little bit compared to Vicious by V.E. Schwab because we have superheroes in here, but they're bad people. And there's heroes and there's villains, and you're not really sure which one is which because they both seem to be pretty bad. So we are following our main character, who is actually like an assistant to one of the criminals. And she knows that she's working for somebody who's not a good person. However, she needs a job and she's pretty good at it. But she ends up having an encounter with a superhero that leaves her questioning absolutely everything she thinks she knows about good and evil. And so it kind of goes from there. But I have heard very, very good things about this one. Okay, the next one that I grabbed is Elevation by Stephen King. This is a teeny tiny little book. And this one is following a man who is living in Castle Rock. And it is following him while he is dealing with an affliction that he is losing weight, but it doesn't show in his body, but he's losing weight. It doesn't matter. He will weigh himself with 50 pounds of clothes on, and his weight stays the same as if he's doesn't have any clothes on. And so he's not really sure what it is that is happening with that. He can't seem to get that under control, and it's scaring him. He's also dealing with some neighbors who just moved into the neighborhood and have opened a business, and they're being a little bit shunned by the community. So he's dealing with that as well. So yeah, I guess we'll see what it's all about, but it's nice and short, and it's Stephen King. So it's definitely on my radar. Okay, the next one that I grabbed is Small Favors, and this is by Erin A. Craig. This book is beautiful, and look at those end papers. Gloria, look, Gloria, bees. So pretty. Oh my gosh, I didn't even see that spine. Gorgeous. Okay, so I have read Erin A. Craig before. I really, really liked her first book, and I definitely want to read more from her. And I think there is a sequel coming out for that book as well. It was called A House of Salt and Sorrows, and I really liked it. So I definitely want to read more from her. There's a sequel to that coming out soon, but this is another one that she has written. So this is following a village that is surrounded by a forest, and there are bad things in the forest. So you don't go into it. You try not to let it creep into you. But I think there is some control that gets lost somewhere somehow, because there are some villagers who end up going missing, and the beings in the forest are being blamed for that. So it's kind of that type of story. But yeah, but a gorgeous book. Okay, and then the very last one, guys, thanks for sticking with me on this. I picked up Ray Bear. This is by Jordan of Waco. I have heard very, very good things about this fantasy novel. And this one is following a young girl, and she is raised in isolation. But when she comes of age, she is sent to the capital to compete with other children to be chosen as one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. And if she is chosen, she'll be joined with other council members, and they are bonded by something called the Ray, which is a bond that is supposed to be deeper than blood. So they are very, very bonded. And that closeness is something that she is really craving, because she was raised in isolation. So she's really craving just like, bonding with people and doing all that. However, her mother has different ideas. Her mother actually wants her to kill the crowned prince. She wants her to get into this program, to get close to him, and then to kill him. And so she is going to need to make that type of decision. So I've heard very good things. Like I said, there is a follow-up to this one as well. I tried to actually get that too, but it jumped out of my cart before I could check out. So someone else grabbed it. But eventually I will probably grab that too. But I'm definitely excited to try this one out. All right, guys, that's it. It's fine. It's fine. Oh man. All right. We're going to put these on the floor. I was going to say on my shelves. I don't have room on my shelves. They're going to go on the floor, and we're going to try to get to them. So let me know your thoughts. Anything interesting to you? Anything I should keep it high up on my TBR? Let me know, and I will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.